started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder. Couldn't help but wonder. I couldn't help but wonder. I couldn't help but wonder.
Welcome back to City Girls Make Do. I'm your host, Alex. And are you happy to be in Paris?
No.
No.
And I'm your host, Stephanie. And today I had a thought.
Careful.
I'm gonna be careful. Don't worry. I'll watch out.
That reminds me, like, every time I say to my mum, I'm like, I've been thinking. She's like, warned you about that. Oh, be careful.
I mean, she's right. It's a dangerous thing, thinking.
Don't think.
Especially if you're Carrie. And it's bad idea. Bad idea altogether. And that's like what a large part of the show is her thinking. So
it's her thinking and wondering things and then being wrong. She spends like a week thinking about a certain subject, and by the end, she's still wrong about it.
She's really she's annoying in this episode, but it's mostly just because I hate that she's like in Paris and that she's like, oh, what could be wrong? I'm in Paris. And I'm just like, yeah, you're in Paris. Like, what do you mean what's wrong?
Real Francophobia hours.
I hate it. It's like there's places in France that I think are nice. Just Paris isn't one of them.
I feel like Paris just like has like, because it's like any major city, like it's a touristy place, so it's full of tourists and people who are miserable there, and it's like a city, like that's it. Like all cities are full of people who are kind of miserable and don't want to be there, and tourists who think it's amazing. So like the clash, it creates drama. Yeah,
it's just like I don't know. I just don't care. She seems to think it's very like. She thinks it's supposed to be really romantic, and then she's, like, very surprised when she finds that it's just fine.
Yeah.
But it's the part 1 of the finale, An American Girl in Paris part 1.
Yeah, it's like Hot Shots part 1. Well, I guess it's just Hot Shots and then Hot Shots part 2.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I don't know. We're at the home stretch. We are at the home stretch. It's like, imagine if you were winning, like if you were running a marathon, like we're at mile like 24, you know, or in the Hunger Games.
How many miles are in a marathon?
26.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, that doesn't sound. I always get miles and kilometers confused, and I was like, that is not very far in a marathon because I was thinking kilometers.
Yeah, I guess no, that wouldn't be. That would be a marathon for me because I'm very unfit and I don't want to run.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're at like 23, 24, like we're nearly there. Or if we're in the Hunger Games, there's like 4 people left.
Yeah, God, I wish that the show is the same plot as the Hunger Games. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I wish like at the end of it, like Carrie and Big both threatened to kill themselves on television.
God, yeah, I was just kind of like, wait, I guess that book/movie does end with them not dying, so it's not ideal, but it's like it's still up there.
Yeah, it's at least fun to see children die, you know.
Yeah, no, as one does, you know.
I don't know if that was the takeaway of the film, but
I think
that's
so.
What I took
Yeah,
away.
those were the themes. I think.
Yes.
Which I would have loved in this show, but it's fine. This finale is. I mean, we're not finished the finale yet, so I don't want to give my full review of it yet. But like, it's like it. I don't know. It does a good job being a finale. I don't love everything that happens because they set up the show that way to end in a way that I don't like everything that happens. But the way that it does play out is like, okay, you're setting it up so that I'm like the least mad possible that I could be for this to happen. So I appreciate that. They're not just throwing it together and just being like, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, we're wrapping everything up now. We're like, it's coming together.
Yes. Yeah, and there's stuff that happens this episode that I'm like, thank you for putting this in here because otherwise I would just be mad. But instead I'm just kind of like, okay, It's fine. But it's enjoyable. It's a fun thing. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that Big is here, but we've kind of said in the Discord even, like, at this point in the show, you realize that you're, like, kind of happy that Big's back because you're so fucking tired of Petrovsky.
Yeah, it does a lot. I guess we should just get into it now.
Yeah, we see that Chris
Carrie's-
Noth is guest starring from the very beginning. His name comes up on the thing, and I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't be a finale of Sex and the City without Chris Noth.
Yeah, he kind of has to be here, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So Carrie is packing to go to Paris. So she's going, like, that night, basically. She's going at, like, 9 o'clock. That's when she's getting her plane, I guess. Which is, like, I don't know. If I'm leaving somewhere, if I'm getting a plane, I don't want to do anything else for the rest of that day. Like, that day is blacked out. I'm
Yeah,
not doing
me
anything
too.
else.
And I was so stressed out that she goes out for 6 p.m. before she has a flight at 9 p.m., an international flight at 9 p.m., where, like, I know where the airports are in New York City. They are not in Manhattan. So, like, what the fuck?
No. Like, if it's me, it's like, okay, I can't do anything else today. Today is my flying day. I need to mentally prepare to, like, go on a plane and go through an airport.
Mm-hmm.
But Carrie's just, a jet setter, even though she hasn't moved. She hasn't, like, left New York since, like, what? Last season? Even then, went to Atlantic City or the Hamptons or LA.
Yeah.
Like, she's not...
She doesn't really leave, and she kind of wistfully, like, looks back at it like she's leaving it for good, but she hasn't even cleaned out her apartment because it's very much like the rich person thing of, like, you're just leaving your apartment for later when you happen to visit again. And so it's not like she's, like, packing up all her shit. She is, like, packing outfits. Like, that's all she's bringing with her.
Yeah, she's, like, packed outfits for the next few weeks, and then she'll probably just buy a bunch more outfits while she's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets a call from Alex, and who's basically just like, oh, I'll see you soon. And from Miranda, who's saying, oh, I can't, you haven't changed your mind, have you? Anyway, our dinner is still at 6. And, Carrie's, like, all wistfully looking at her apartment and stuff. And then she has a voicemail from Big. And, yeah.
I do think it's funny though that they tease his name like one last time, where he's just like, "Hey, I'm in town. I'd like to see you again." Yeah, and if you forgot, and then she hits delete before he says his name.
I don't even why is it a big deal that we don't know his name?
It's just like a tease at this point. Like, they're just like, it's such a joke that you don't know his name. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't care. And then we find it out in the next episode anyway. Spoiler. I mean, it's not spoiler because I'm not even saying what it is. But, like, we find it out in the next episode. So, like, does it even matter?
I swear we just find out, like, at the last episode, we just find out his first name. Not even, like, it takes to the movie to get the full fucking name. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Or who cares? Like, I don't know. I remember it being a big thing that, like, oh my god, the last episode, they're finally going to reveal Big's name. Okay. Like, that's not the important thing about his character in the slightest.
It's not. And it's such a bland name, too, that it's just like, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I had this joke with my mum the other day. We were talking about, like, guys I dated. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've dated, like, 3... I've been on dates with, like, 3 different Jameses. And she's like, oh, my God, like, do people not have any other fucking names for their children? Like, the amount of, like, James, Michael, Peter, Oliver, like, that's it. Those are the only names you're allowed to call your child. I don't know why.
There's so many terrible boys' names. It's just like...
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, and Big is just... not an exception. It's like, okay, that's unfortunate for you, but yeah, so she's leaving for her last supper, as she calls it, and which is really misleading, because if she was making a reference to the real Last Supper, then I'd be like, sick, she's gonna die this episode, but she doesn't.
Yeah, Miranda would kiss her, and, like, it would be a big, ooh, I'd be into Miranda kissing her. And then
that would be nice.
Carrie would die.
Yeah. It'd be good. That's, you know how they're making Passion 2? Could be that. Passion 2.
of the Christ 2.
Sex and the City, the third movie, is just the same movie.
It's Carrie being whipped in the streets.
If you never thought that Sex and the City 3 could be more racist than Sex and the City 2, wait until Mel Gibson directs it.
Jesus. You are right.
But yeah, so she goes out in her steps and she is getting ready to go out for her, she's gonna get a cab to the dinner. But Big is there in his car, like, you know, sitting in the back of the car because he never drives. He has his driver take him everywhere because he's a fucking rich asshole. Hate him so much.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, hey, I want to talk to you, and I saw that your light on was outside of your house. Like, what a fucking stalker move. He drove to her house, I guess, and, like, looked to see if the light was on to see if she was home, and then just waited until she came outside.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, oh, get in, let's talk. And she gets in, and they talk a bit, and Big's, I guess his thing is he wants to get back with her, basically. He's like, I've changed. I've realized that, you know, I really like spending time with you. And he wants to have dinner with her. And she's like, I am leaving tonight. And he's like, oh, where are you going? And she's like, Paris, forever.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, we'll have drinks when you get back. And she's like, yeah, I'm not coming back. And it's like, the whole conversation is really awkward because Carrie the whole time is like, she's doing the thing where you can tell that someone is very uncomfortable with having a conversation and just giving kind of like, she's kind of giving short, not full answers. And just, she's like, kind of like, I have to go, I have a dinner that I'm going to in like 15 minutes, and he just keeps pressing her, and then she's just like, look, I have to go, like, I can't answer all your questions. And she also just tries to, like, he tries to apologize for everything. He's like, I know that I was like just such an ass before, and she's like, oh, stop, like, don't, like, there's no point in you apologizing, it's fine, like, it's whatever, I'm with someone else now. And it's so uncomfortable.
Well, the thing I liked was when, well, not that I liked, but like I paid attention to, was how Carrie says she's in a relationship. And I kind of was like, oh, but like Carrie would say she's in love.
This is true. It is I thought that was such a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
Like when she said it, I was expecting her to be like, oh, I'm with another man now, or like I'm seeing someone else now. And she's like moving to Paris with him, right? So like it's such weird wording to say I'm in a relationship with someone else. It's just weird and clunky. But yeah, she doesn't say anything about that. And
she does.
She's just kind of.
She does sort of say his name when she leaves the car, because she gets out and she's like, I'm with someone else. And he says, who? And she says, oh, Alexander Petrovsky. And he goes, oh, you're going to Paris with a Ruski?
I'm just like, you're trying to win her over and you're being such a fuck. It's so annoying.
You were trying to win her back by insulting her.
Yeah, I don't like he's literally just fucking negging her, and she's clearly just like, look, I need to get to my dinner. I can't have this conversation right now. But then like after he chases after her, she just fully gives him shit. She's just like, every time I'm happy in my life, every time I've moved on from you and I've got something else in my life, you come back in and you just shit all over everything.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's different this time. It's different. And she's just like, no, it's been 6 years and you are never different. Every single time I think you've changed, you haven't changed. And I'm the one who looks like an idiot because you're just an ass. And she basically just says like, forget you ever even knew my name, and just storms off. And I'm like, go Carrie, this is some good shit.
It's the fucking dragging of the century. You're like, okay, go off a little bit. Like, you didn't lie. Wish you kind of said this like 4 seasons ago, but cool.
I know. I guess I don't even want to call it growth because like...
No, it's not growth.
It's not.
Funnily enough, like today, 2 guys I like previously had a sort of thing with, like messaged me completely out of the blue. And I was like, I don't know, I just looked in the camera like it was The Office. I really wished this show would stop trying to mirror my actual life because it's not very fun.
Yeah.
Just every single time. Every time.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. I just... Anyway, she gets her cab.
Yes.
And she, or is this like just a different time altogether? Oh no, she goes to drinks first. She gets in the cab and then gets to her drinks. And, sorry, I just got lost for a second.
Yeah.
She calls Big the man who cried love, and then she just like has to explain to Charlotte that she doesn't mean he literally said he loved her, just that like he keeps coming back and being like, I carry you, but then he doesn't.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He comes back like a fucking bad smell, and he doesn't really do anything. And everyone's just like, yeah, fuck Big. And like the dinner is really awkward because obviously it's not like normal times.
Yeah. It is weird, and like she just wants to have a good time because it is her last night in New York because she is leaving like in a couple hours, and she's upset that he ruined it, and then already like they're just trying to have like nice drinks together as their last time, and she can't even get drunk because she could get drunk, she's just a coward, but she doesn't want to be drunk on the plane, and then she gives a speech to the girls, but Charlotte's like, I'm gonna cry if you give a speech, and then that's when Carrie says, today I had a thought. And her thought is literally just, what if I'd never met you all? And they're all tearing up and crying and being like sad about it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Obviously, I like I've had that thought about like my friends and stuff. It's like, oh, imagine how different it would be if like I didn't befriend that person. But
yeah,
like that is the end of her thought. That is the end of her big like statement.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything about like how her life is different because of them. She's just like, what if I didn't know you? And then she's like, anyway, I'm leaving and I'm barely like, I'm gonna keep in touch.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, what if I'd never met you? Like, I never would have started at Vogue, or I never would have done this. I never would have met, you know, it's not like she said, oh, Charlotte, if I'd never have met you, I never would have met Alexander, right?
Yeah, and it's very impersonal. It's kind of just like, it's not anything that exciting.
It's like she just says something that like will make her friends upset, and then goes, okay, bye.
Yeah, they do all tear up, even the ones who are less emotional. When by that I mean not Charlotte, like they all four of them are tearing up.
Yeah.
And Samantha is like complaining because she thinks chemo's like kicked her into early menopause because she keeps getting hot flashes, and then she calls Carrie a cunt.
Yes. I love it. I have that in my notes too. I'm like, Sam in early menopause calls Carrie a cunt. That's the
it's good.
Yeah. So Carrie goes back to her place to get ready for the plane. Like, this is so stupid. Okay, so she goes out and then goes back to her place and changes outfits. Also changes outfits into something like equally impractical to wear on a plane.
Yeah, no, the outfit is terrible for wearing on a plane. Like, I realized that she's like, I'm arriving in Paris. I need to have this beautiful outfit to wear when I, like, wake up from my red-eye flight. But it's like, literally no one is gonna care. And also, like, you can get changed at an airport. And, like, who wants to be on a plane in this uncomfortable outfit? And
I'm like, sure she would have been first class. So could she not have gotten changed there? Like, go in something comfy. Because, I mean, she has to sleep on the plane as well. It's going to be a red eye. So,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Is she sleeping in a pair of fucking heels? And, like, a full dress? Like, no, Carrie, go in something comfy. And then get changed when you're, like, getting near to it.
Yeah. Rookie move.
Yeah.
She's stupid, but it's fine. She also grabs her nameplate necklace and puts it in her purse before leaving for the quote-unquote last time, like as if this is ever the last time. Like, she's even if everything works out with her and Petrovsky, this is not the last time she is ever going to see her apartment, so I don't understand. But
because
anyway,
he says he's going to rent it. It's not like she has to let go of the lease or anything. Also, her carry-on is a clutch.
Yeah, she is moving.
She is moving,
and she has like
she's moving
2 bags
across continents, and she's like,
"Yeah,
I'm gonna wear heels, a dress, and my carry-on is gonna be a clutch."
Yeah, that is what she does. And then we go to Samantha, and she's out for drinks with there's some ladies we haven't seen before, but they're like planning a breast cancer benefit, so that's how she knows them.
Yeah.
And she's having hot flashes, and she's just like not having any of it. She's just like annoyed with all of their choices. Like they want to do this like the pink ribbon cookie as part of the benefit, and like Samantha's just like, people with cancer do not want a cookie. Like they want something that's actually inspirational. Like this is so stupid.
Yeah, she's like, I actually had breast cancer and I don't want a fucking cookie. Like she's going for it. And I guess like the leader of the band, like the leader of the committee or whatever, is like, well, I'm gonna give them something inspirational. You.
Like, okay.
I mean it makes sense. Because obviously Samantha is like, I guess she's in like remission, and she's obviously like a very successful woman. She's still been working through her diagnosis and through her treatment and everything. So now she's been like asked. She hasn't been asked to do a speech. She's kind of just been told she is doing one. And also, the lady is like, oh, my like parents, my in-laws are going to be there, so like don't swear too much.
Yeah, and she just like names them by their last name, like as if that means anything.
Yeah, she's like,
but
the
I guess
Liebermans, as if who else would it be? Like, obviously your in-laws are the fucking people you're married to. Like your spouse's parents. Like that's who the in-laws are. But she's like, the Liebermans. I don't know if,
and like what reflection is that going to have on her anyway? I don't understand.
No,
like,
maybe the Liebermans are like really famous. Lieberman is like
maybe.
not an uncommon name.
No. And it's just, I guess all this really does is just sets a precedent that Samantha kind of like preparing her presentation is kind of like, okay, so it's not going to be anything like raunchy. It's just going to be me trying to be inspirational to these women, I guess. And yeah, so then we go back to, now we're in Paris with Carrie. Carrie in Paris.
Gay Paris.
Carrie in Paris. And she's just saying bonjour and merci beaucoup to like everyone, every single person she sees.
She's being incredibly American.
Yeah, they're unloading her bags from like the private car that drove her there, and they're just like taking her bags inside, and she goes and checks in at the hotel, and she's just like doing her not even half French. She just keeps like throwing in French words everywhere, which is very funny.
She's like, oh, oui, bonjour, and the like concierge speaks to her in French like fluently, and she's just kind of looks a bit blank, and he's like, and she says, I think she says something that's like, oh, a little bit slower, and he goes, oh, you're American.
He would totally know she was American from her saying bonjour.
Yeah.
Like he would have known this anyway, but like maybe he just thought she was an American who spoke French.
Like accents exist through language. The American I dated who knew French was like, yeah, all the French people tell me that I don't have an American accent when I speak French.
That's bullshit.
It's bullshit, but like, I appreciate his, I don't know, tenacity in saying that to me. Well, I don't fucking speak French, so I can't tell you. But yeah. The
thing is, I speak French and I did 13 years of French immersion, and like, I know what Canadians who started speaking French at age 5 sound like as adults speaking French, and it does not sound like a French person.
No, I mean, it's like, probably less heavily accented than just like your average person speaking French. But I doubt you sound French.
No. Like, you can definitely tell that there are people who sound like Canadians speaking French, but not Canadians speaking French like as a French Canadian, but just like English speaking people trying their best.
Yeah. I mean, because it happens the other way. Is like, if you know someone who speaks English as a second language very well, they can still have like a slight accent, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Just, I think speaking French and you have a bit of an English accent, it sounds like, to me, it just sounds really awful. Yeah. Like, just because French has such like I don't even want to call it a pretty language because I don't think it is, but like, it's just like a language that has a certain sound to it, and people whose first language is English and haven't been speaking it like since birth as like a second language do generally just sound like shit speaking French to me. But yeah, Carrie, I mean, it's obvious that she's American, but like he's pretty cool with it. He's just like, oh yeah, we'll get your stuff upstairs. And Petrovsky's like in the dining area, and you can go find him there. So she does, and she walks in and she sees him like snuggled up really closely with this like really young girl at the table, and I'm just like, oh god, no. Like this is what her thoughts are just terrible. Because this is his daughter.
No, but like, I don't see my dad like that.
Yeah, no, it's as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know this is his daughter, but this is fucking weird. Like, I know they're European, but like, I don't think I know that there's different like customs for how you like are going to interact with your family depending on where you're from, but like, I've never seen this before. When I've been like either in France or anywhere else in Europe, so it's kind of weird to me. They're very snuggled up. It's gross.
People let a lot of shit fly by being like, "Oh, Europeans," but like, I don't know. I've never done that. I will obviously hug my dad and like give him a kiss on the cheek or whatever, but like, I'm not gonna sit with him like snuggled up at like it's. I do not blame her for being weirded out by it. But yeah, this is Chloe, and she has like scene hair, like she has the full like other side of your fucking head like bangs, and she's just chain smoking.
Yes, she is smoking so much. It's like, I didn't know you could smoke this much, because she's very French. And Carrie comes up and Petrovsky's like, oh, this is my daughter Chloe, and she's just like, oh.
She's like, oh, okay, it's not weird now. Wait, no, it's a new type of weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just different weird. And then the daughter starts speaking. Chloe starts speaking to Carrie in French, just like really fast, saying she had like the worst day of her life. And Carrie's like, I don't know anything you said except for the time of day. And Chloe's just like, you don't speak French.
He's.
Which I don't know what she expected.
Like, oh, you don't speak French. Like, wouldn't he tell her that? Wouldn't he be like, oh, my girlfriend's coming, she's American, she doesn't speak French all that well, so, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so see, I thought this at first, but then we got to later scenes in this episode, and I was like, oh, you're really not doing a whole lot to make other people understand about Carrie not being able to understand what you're saying. So it kind of made sense, like, in the entire episode with how he behaves. But, yeah, you'd think he would have told her beforehand, especially since he seems to think she's very important to him. But yeah, he says, oh, she's having problems with a boyfriend, and Carrie's like, oh, what's the problem? Like, boys are my specialty. And the daughter just is like, anyway, just like completely changes the subject.
Yeah, he's just like, anyway, he says that he has to like get a lunch thing, so they'll have dinner later, and Carrie's like, oh, it's fine, I'll go out to my room and I need to nap and I'll just enjoy being in Paris.
Yeah, and so she goes up to her room, and it is fucking huge. Like, this is the nicest hotel room I've seen in my life. I hate rich people. She goes out onto the balcony, and this balcony is huge. Like, the balcony is like the size of my kitchen. And then she can see the Eiffel Tower right from her balcony, and it's just like absolutely wild. But she's happy at the moment because she's just like so excited about everything.
She screams when she sees it, and
she does scream when she sees it.
I don't blame Chloe for being slightly disgusted when Carrie brings up like the Eiffel Tower or whatever. She's like, ugh, it's trash. Because I get it. Because it's like, when you're in a city, like, if someone's like, oh my god, I can see Big Ben, I'm like, ugh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what if someone had come to, like, what if one of Carrie meets someone in New York, and they're just like, oh my God, we like went to Times Square today, and it was the best thing I've seen in my life. Like, what would she say to them? Like, realistically. But it, like, I'm surely she wouldn't be like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful balcony, beautiful hotel room. So she's excited, and then we see her 10 hours later, and she's just like super dressed up. Like, this is bananas dressed up. I don't know where they're going out to, but like this dress is like huge.
It's massive. It's like loads of ruffles, big huge dress. It's more like, I don't know. It's obviously a formal dress, and he comes in later in like a tuxedo.
Yes.
So I guess they were going somewhere like very formal, but I don't know where that would be.
Yeah, no idea. But she is waiting for him because he said he was going to be there at like a certain time, and so she's just kind of waiting.
And then she falls asleep. Or is that later then?
She does fall asleep, which, like Mood, I fell asleep as soon as I got off work today. I was like, I'm just going to lay down in bed and play some Animal Crossing, and then I fell asleep, so I get it.
We do get like a quick like interception. Charlotte and Harry are like contacting their friends because they're doing a private adoption, so they need references.
Yes. Yeah. And this is kind of where we learn, like, they're still on the waiting list for, like, adoption in China, and it's, like, a year-long waiting list, but, like, at this point, Charlotte seems super optimistic about it, so she seems like this is what she wants, and that it's good and everything, which is nice, because last time we brought it up, she was kind of just, like, frustrated.
Yeah, she was frustrated by the idea. I guess now she's changed her tune, and she's, like, into it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's good. I mean, well, it's not that, like, it doesn't seem out of character or anything, because, like, she did bring up the idea of adoption with Trey and everything, so it's not like I would expect her to just be against it, but, like, I guess the last time it was especially frustrating because it was kind of like following her miscarriage and stuff too, so it was like there's a lot going on here, but she's happy at the moment, and yeah.
And so it's cute. And she says, like, the important thing from this, I guess, is that she says she's going to go over to Carrie's place, because Carrie's written the one, and she's left it in her apartment. Yeah,
and she's also just, like, I guess, getting all of Carrie's mail and stuff too. So
nice of her, I guess.
Let me go back to Carrie.
We do go back to Carrie.
Yeah. Carrie has fallen asleep, as we said, and Petrovsky comes back to the room, and she's just asleep, and he's like, I'm sorry I'm late. It went to this way longer thing, and Carrie's just like, why didn't you call me? And he's like, I did. You have Do Not Disturb on.
Yeah. And she's like, oh. So he gets into bed with her, and he calls her dress milfoy, and she's like, 1,000 layers. And she says it so like that's the name of like a fucking cake. Like, we know what milfoy is. But he starts counting it, and then he goes underneath the dress, and she starts giggling. So, pussy, it confirmed.
Yeah, this is true. Although it's a really interesting reaction she has if that is what he's doing. But they're just joking around, and it's good. For now, I'm like, okay, this is good. At least he's making her feel better, whichever way he's doing it. And then we go to Samantha. She is practicing her speech with Smith for the breast cancer thing, and she's in her bra and underwear because she's so hot from her hot flashes all the time. She looks really good, and she's just like, I don't know, it's a whatever speech. She finishes it, and she's just like, it's good, huh? And Smith is just like, I don't know, it's like kind of stiff, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Which, he's right, it's not particularly interesting. She's just saying words, and he's just like, the most inspirational people when I'm at AA are like the ones who keep it real, not people who are just saying stuff to say it, but like the ones who are honest and maybe a little like frank about how things are. And
yeah, he's just like, it's kind of boring. She's also in her underwear.
Yeah, which makes it more interesting,
it does,
I guess.
But yeah, he just wants her to be a bit more truthful and less like rigid, I guess.
Yeah, and she's like, I can't be raunchy or anything. Like I know PR, this isn't going to be the same as AA. Like, it needs to be like this, basically. And he's just like, all right, whatever you say. Smith.
I do love Smith. Okay, back to Carrie. It's been a week of her in Paris, and she's finally decided to go shopping.
She sure does. She goes to Dior, and it's like raining outside, so she has this umbrella. But since it's raining, the floor is like wet inside of Dior, and she just like slips and fucking nosedives right into the store, and it's extremely funny.
She eats shit.
Yeah, it's ass eating season, and she's just fucking. It's brutal. It's so funny. Like, they probably had to hire like a stunt person to do this because, like, I can't imagine like the length that she flies across the floor is just so funny. Like, it's good to me. But she's so embarrassed. Like, everything flies out of her purse, so she has to go like pick it up. And she's like later she even says like, I don't even know if I got all my credit cards. Like, I was just so embarrassed.
Yeah, and Petrovsky's like, well, you didn't forget all of them because she bought loads of stuff. She bought loads to kind of make up for the fact that she was embarrassed.
Yeah, she was like, well, if I buy a lot, they won't think of me as like the idiot American girl who fell in Dior. And it's like,
yeah, they will.
They will. Like,
and so he's like going through this, like he's working, I guess. He takes like a phone call, and she's looking through her bag and she can't find her necklace.
Yep, she's lost her nameplate necklace. I don't even think she tries to call Dior to be like, did you find a necklace there on the floor that says Carrie? It's very easy to identify what it is. She doesn't seem to do anything to do that. Like, that's clearly where she lost it. But she's really upset about it because, you know, obviously it means a lot to her. She's had it like the whole show. Petrovsky's like, oh, is it insured? And she's like, it's not expensive. Like, it's not like that. It's just like, it's priceless. Like, she mentions at some point that she got it at like a flea market or something, and like it's not something she can just replace really easily. And even if she did, it's not the same. Like, it wouldn't be like the same one that she got in New York and everything.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And like she says later to Miranda on the phone, she's like, she got that when they're all together, so that's why it's important to her.
Yes. And Carrie is kind of sad for the rest of the episode. Like, we see her next walking around Paris, and like she sees this group of 4 girls inside at like a restaurant, just like laughing at a table, and she just like stares at them.
Yeah, she doesn't even.
She stares at them basically until they notice.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. They're laughing for like a full 20 seconds, and then they turn and see her, and they just stare at her.
And
and then she calls Miranda.
And she's like, I lost the necklace that I got with all of you guys, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And Miranda's like, come home, you're too sad, come home, you gotta. And she's like, no, like, I've only been here for a week, that would be ridiculous. But then she goes in and talks about, like, how she's just kind of, like, even without the necklace thing happening, she's just kind of, like, a bit lost. Because, like, she has nothing to do in Paris. Like, she's been to all the museums twice. Petrovsky's working a lot. And it's, like, taking up more time than he expected it to. And Miranda's like, you gotta come home. You just come home. Leave. It's like, Miranda,
she's
please.
Like, leave his ass.
Very
she's
supportive.
Like, leave him. Fucking dump him.
Yes, dump him. But yeah, and then this is where Carrie makes her confession. She's like, I have to admit something to you, but you can't hold it against me. And Miranda's like, okay. But her confession is that she's been thinking about Big this whole time because she has all this time on her hands to do nothing. And so she spends a lot of time comparing Petrovsky to Big, thinking about Big, like wondering what she would do in Paris if Big was there. And then the phone call kind of cuts out. Like, the phone starts saying stuff to her in French, and Carrie's like, oh, no. And then they lose the call.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
But she doesn't even try to call her back. She doesn't put more coins in. She just fucking is like, well, too bad. And she walks away.
Yeah, she's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll never speak to my friend again.
Yeah, never. That's it. But that's the end of the scene, too. We go back. Now we go to Samantha. And she's giving her speech. So she's in front of like a whole like banquet of people, and she's sweating, and she is like wet. She's sweating so much.
Profusely.
And this is like an extremely stiff presentation. Like, it's worse than when she said it to Smith because of how much she's sweating.
You know those memes where it's like
and,
me
like,
when they're reading my temperature and just someone standing there. This is me when someone reads my temperature.
Yeah.
I immediately start sweating.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, oh no, oh god, oh no, I'm disgusting now. And then the person who like told her to do the speech is like talking to someone else in the audience and just being like, I said inspirational, not perspirational.
Fuck this bitch.
And it's like, you wanted her to do this. But anyway, Samantha's so uncomfortable, and she's just like, fuck it. This is what cancer looks like. My hot flashes are awful, and I'm so hot. And she pulls her wig off and just says, that's better. And she's just like, she's not like completely bald or anything, but she's like got very short hair underneath it. And then this kind of inspires a bunch of other women. They all pull off their wigs.
It's the
and they
best gift.
It's so
it's
good.
The one where it's all of them taking their wigs off, and she like throws it around and spins it and throws it into the audience.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's also
she
really sweet.
It.
So like the other women in the audience who are taking off their wigs are like real life cancer survivors. So it's like a nice moment.
Oh, that rules. Yeah. No, it's probably my favorite moment of the episode. It's just extremely like they all stand up one by one and do it, and then like she gets like a standing ovation, and it's really good.
It's good. Oh boy. I went to the IMDb for like to just because I thought I knew that fact, but I just wanted to make sure it was true before I said it. And like
yeah.
Okay, I have a juicy. I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information, and I will get to it when we get to the end of the episode.
Oof! I cannot wait. Good. In the meantime, Charlotte goes to Carrie's place to get the mail and the letter, and she sees that Carrie left her laptop on the bed, so she goes over to it, and she just like goes and looks at it. And then there's not even a phone ring; it just goes right to voicemail. Maybe this is because Carrie like set it to
it
she left,
immediately goes to like screening the calls.
Yeah, and it's a message from Beige, and it's basically just him being like, look, I don't even know if you're in town. I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about you. I can't lose you again. I love you. And then after he says, I love you, Charlotte picks up the phone.
Yeah.
And is like, hello.
And she's like, hi, it's Charlotte. Big doesn't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah. He probably doesn't. Like, he's met the girls like twice probably. It's so stupid. But then we get a scene of them at like they're like going for brunch or whatever, or wherever they're sitting, and it's the three girls, like no Carrie, and Big comes in to meet them for like lunch, and they're all just like staring him down.
Yeah, I mean, like Charlotte's happy to see him, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, basically, he's like, look, I know that I haven't been a favorite over the years. And Charlotte's like, oh, I wouldn't say that. And Samantha's like, I would. Like, that's an understatement. And Miranda doesn't even say anything. She just stares at him. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is the scene that the Mad Randa emoji in our server is
because I like flashbacks to it. I was like, where do I know this, like, one specific image of Cynthia Nixon from? All right, yeah.
Yeah, and she's just looking directly into his soul. And he's just like, I know I fucked up a lot. Which, like, okay, again, understatement of the century.
Like, I know I fucked up a lot, but I realize now that, like, Carrie is this amazing person, and he wants to, I guess, right his wrongs. And he says, like, look, I'm only going to intervene if you guys tell me that she is not happy. If you tell me there is even the smallest chance that she is going to be happy with this guy, it's over. I'll never come back. I'll never speak to her again. It's done. And he says, like, he really butters them up good. He butters them up good. Because he says, this is the line that made me lose my fucking mind, where he's like, you three are the loves of her life. And for a guy to come in fourth, he's the luckiest man in the world. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. But also, my pussy is shaking.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're not even in fourth because, like, obviously New York City is in fourth.
Yeah.
You're in fifth for her. But, like, but still, it's the thought of what he's saying makes sense. And he is like, if I have even the slightest chance to win her back, I will roam the streets of Paris until I find her. And it's just like, well, this is what's happening.
Like, we could just tell you the hotel that she's staying at, and he's like, no, I need to walk around the entire city of Paris until I just bump into her.
Yeah. And, like, okay, so part of this does feel really contrived because I do think it's very realistic that Carrie would not be having a great time in Paris because of the circumstances. I do know what it's like to be somewhere new, really far away from everyone you love, and just be really miserable for a while because that's what it's like getting used to a new place. But I don't necessarily think that means that she wouldn't be happy with, I don't know. It's hard to say based, because like then there's the next scene too where I'm just like, fuck you, Petrovsky. But, like, I do feel like it's almost kind of like they could have easily written it where she was happy with him in the finale, and it would have made sense. Like, it would have been an ending that I was like, okay, sure. But they're like, no, we are going to make it so that you want Big back. And I'm like, fine, write it that way.
It would have been nice
fine.
if she was, like, happy on her own.
And then it would have been nicer if she was, but of course, we can't have that. So none of them end up like, I mean, I guess kind of Samantha. I was going to say none of them really end up on their own at the end of the series, which is kind of disappointing. But I mean, Samantha kind of
I mean, her and like Smith are pretty solid. I would say like none of them end up on their own because, you know, you need a man to complete you.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, like they're together at the end of the series, but then like I'm just thinking of like when we get to the movies and stuff. Like it's not like Smith is.
I don't think the movies are canon. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is a really good point. They're probably not canon. Yeah, I like thinking that they're not canon because then I can just forget about them when I don't want to think about them. Like there's enough bad shit in the show already. So, okay, so we go back to Paris for our last scene of the episode, and Carrie and Petrovsky are out for drinks, and he has a gift for her, and it's a necklace. He's like, I know that it's not the Carrie necklace, but it is a necklace for Carrie. So he knows it's not going to, like, replace it or anything, but he's just like, I wanted to make you happier with Thing. So here's Thing. Are you happy the way now?
Like, it's not the Carrie necklace, but it is a Carrie necklace.
Yeah, it is a necklace.
He's pulling out the linguistics. I love it.
Yeah, it is very funny. He hopes it cheers her up, and like for a second it does. Like she is happy for a second. She's kind of like oh no, like despite the fact that I'm having like a shit time this first week, like I still do care about him a lot. He is still good to me. But then, just as we think things are looking up, he's holding her hair back to help her put it on, and suddenly, like right after he apologizes for being too busy and like everything, they're interrupted by these people who know Petrovsky, and it's like I think he says it's like his best friend.
Yeah, it's like a friend, and he's there with his girlfriend, and they're all very speaking French, and like, oh, you know, whatever. I can't speak French.
Yeah,
I can't say what they said.
And yeah, there's not a single moment here where Petrovsky's like, oh, can we speak English because Carrie doesn't speak French? They sit down and it's like 4 of them sitting together and like 3 of them just speaking French very fast back and forth to each other, and Carrie is just sitting there like lost.
Yeah.
Like make an effort to at least let, like, you know, she's not in a good place right now. Like make an effort to make her feel included and that she can understand stuff and not just sitting here with you. Because, like, at the moment, it just feels like she's here for you and not to do anything herself.
Yeah, she's there to keep him company.
Yeah, and, like, you want her to get to know your friends. So, like, you know, it would be nice if she understood what they were saying.
That would be handy.
Yeah. But yeah, she just kind of, like, holds her necklace and looks sad at the last shot of the episode.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's episode. Okay, so the bad boy piece of information I have, right? This is from IMDb, so obviously it's 100% truth, but I can't imagine why anyone would lie about this. Michael Patrick King met future presidential candidate Senator John McCain at the Writers Guild Awards, where McCain said, when Carrie is in that restaurant at the end and everyone's speaking French and that rap music is playing, I just thought, bring on Big. King asked if he watched it with his wife or daughter, and the senator replied, no, I watched it alone.
What? John McCain
is a Sex and the City fan, and we find this out now.
Well, he fucking died. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know what to do with this information.
Neither do I.
I just feel like...
And, like, I don't know, him saying, like, no, I watched it alone. Like, can you be stupid? Of course I wouldn't watch this with my wife or daughter.
I would not watch this with my daughter, to be fair. I wouldn't watch Sex and the City with a daughter. I would watch Sex and the City with, like, a partner. I mean, I do that.
I'm not
like,
watching this with a child or a parent. Or I have watched it with my mother. I wouldn't watch it with my dad.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if Meghan McCain has watched Sex and the City then. I don't like thinking about it. I just hate thinking about their whole family.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate that he was watching this episode too. Like, I don't want John McCain to have fun with the girls talking about sex and whatever. Like, I don't think he deserves that. Go die. Oh, wait, he did.
No, he doesn't. He did. It was good shit. Remember when he died? Yeah, it was good. Well, rankings, I guess, for our second to last episode. This is tricky, because, like, Samantha's my top.
Yeah.
That's just a given. She has that speech. She criticizes Big. She is not having it with her hot flashes.
Whips her wig off.
I don't know. She rips her wig off. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's good shit. Yeah, she's my top. Sorry. I don't even know who's second, because, like, part of me is like, okay, Carrie screaming at Big was iconic. One of the most iconic moments in the entire series. Her eating shit in Dior was really funny. And, like, not liking Petrovsky is realistic. You know what? Okay, I'll reserve my judgment for the finale with my ranking with her, because that's where she has to make real decisions. For now, I'll put her second. And then I'm gonna... I don't give a shit. Miranda, I don't care about her in this episode. I guess I'll put Charlotte third and Miranda fourth.
Yeah, Miranda doesn't do anything. Like, Charlotte does something, really. That's all I can say. Like, she moves the plot along.
Yeah. And, like, whatever about her and, like, encouraging Big and everything, like, I don't really give a shit about that. But it's also just nice to see her happy with her stuff that's going on in her own plot. Whereas Miranda's entire thing this episode is literally just talking to Carrie and being like, come home. Like, her actual plot is done now, so she has nothing else to do.
I'm going to agree with you. Like, I just think she shouldn't really do anything apart from... the line, go get our girl, is great. And, like, the staring down Big.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I love Cynthia Nixon. I've been watching Ratched, and I'm so happy to see her again.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Shouldn't do anything this episode, so I do have to rank her quite low. So I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. And it's like, she didn't do anything wrong. She was fine. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. We don't have any questions this week. But if you do want to send us questions, you can send them to us at citygirlsmakedo.tumblr.com/ask. And because next week's our finale of the TV show. And then we have 2 movies that we're going to split up somehow. And then we're going to have to announce what we're doing next.
I guess we'll announce that, like, I don't know, maybe when we, like, finish up Sex and the City proper.
That sounds like a good idea.
Entice
That's
people.
a good idea. I'm excited. We already have some theme music. We don't have art yet. That will be something that we need to figure out soon. But I'm excited to do something new, because I love the show and I've had such a good time doing it. But it's kind of nice. Like, at this point, I feel like the 4 girls have, like, done everything. Like, there's not a whole lot new to talk about with them. So I am excited to do something new.
The theme music is amazing, I have to say. Well, pat on the back for Stephanie. I love it.
I'm so excited.
That's the thing, is I just want to do it now. I'm like, do we have to do the movies? I'm like, I'm done. Let's go. New thing.
I know. I keep thinking about it too. I'm like, I just want to start, but it's soon. I guess it's just more incentive for us to like just get the last few episodes out and finished of Sex and the City, soon. Which, yeah, is gonna be soon because there's only a few things left to talk about. So, finale part 2 next week. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say about that because we're wrapping up like the entire series, and I'll have to bring out like a bunch of the other trivia that I have that we haven't had a chance to go through at that point.
Yeah, you'll have to like get the good trivia and we'll just go through it like, I don't know, piece by piece.
We're just going to rapid fire do all of the trivia and it'll be good. I can't wait. But yeah, so that's a little bit of an update in case you, I feel like we've kind of teased it to a couple people and like somewhat in the Discord as well that we are not finished podcasting yet, but like in case you are not there or missed it or anything, yes, we are going to continue making content. So just keep your ears peeled, I guess. I don't like that phrase, but,
it ain't over till it's over.
No. So, I guess I can plug the Patreon at this point. So if you donate $1 a month to our Patreon, you can be a certified haymower. And that tier gives you a special Discord role, access to our bonus content, like the Mummy Mailbag and our Keanu podcast, which, oh shit, I guess that's the end of September. We should probably record one of those soon, huh?
Okay, I do know what I want to do.
I want to do the what do you want to do? Oh, let's do that.
Okay, we'll do the lake house.
Okay, good. I'm excited. Okay, we're doing it. We're making it happen. And yeah, if you're also a $1 and up donor, you get the exclusive Discord channel of Looker and Nanny pics. So, you know, lots of the pics of cats, which is really good.
Pussy
Join our
pics.
Discord. If you donate at the $5 level, you are a cardboard cutout of a baby. And at this tier, you get access to everything from the $1 tier. You get an even specialer Discord role. You get a shout out on the podcast every week. And you can submit stuff for Steve Voice. God, I wonder if I should continue doing Steve Voice when we do continuation podcast or if I should change it. I guess we'll figure something out later. But for all our $5 and up donors are Alex Schaup, Summer Geist, Jennifer Snyder, Matt Ribeiro, Jess Ayalachi, Siberian Pine Hardwood. So thank you all so much. And at the $10 level, sheesh, you are Mr. Big Spender. At this tier, you get everything from the previous rewards, and then you also get an even specialer Discord role. And plus, you can listen to us record live if you would like to do that. So yeah, that's Patreon. If you want to give us money on Patreon, that is patreon.com/citygirlsmakedo. Yeah. I guess that's like episode. Wow, that was fast.
That was a short one. I guess we are just really trying to speed through it to get to the end now.
I mean, this episode felt like there were a lot of big scenes and not a lot of like little going back and forth between scenes, which I feel like is like easier to talk about and we get less derailed when that happens, I think. But we're also recording earlier than usual. So we're just in a different mindset than usual. Usually this is like a 5 p.m. my time, 10 p.m. your time.
I'm like tired, so I start talking like shit and get kind of off tangent, you know. But I'm like, I'm a bit more awake. I'm like, just chill, I've had a glass of wine and relax. As opposed to like, I don't know. By the time we finish, usually it's like quite late and I've gone insane, you know. I'm like, I'm quirky.
Yeah, I do know. It's good. It's good shit. All right. Well, I guess I'll plug my other shit. So, you can find me on Twitter at Age of Oddish. You can find me on Tumblr at Windfall Island. And I really haven't done any other shit lately. Although Matt and I are going to be on Fear Baiting in early October, so that's something to look forward to. I don't know what movie we're doing yet. I don't think anyone has decided that yet between me, Matt, or Sarah, but I am excited because I've been on Fear Baiting twice now and it has been extremely fun both times, and Sarah does a great job with it, so you should definitely listen if you haven't already. Even if you don't like horror movies, it's really fun. It's also on noisepace.xyz.
Cool. I don't know why I sounded like an auto machine there.
It's fine.
And yeah, I guess for me, I'm not doing anything recently. I've just been like Carrie, I've moved, so I'm in a weird depressive state. But you can find me on Tumblr at Dork Phoenix, on Twitter at Alex the Virgo, and on Instagram at Alex King Chuck. And I'm posting there and being funny and quirky, just like I'm funny and quirky here.
I love it. It's good. It's like listening to you on a podcast, but I get to see you too.
You get to see
so it's
me.
Good.
Like you either hear my sexy voice or you see my pretty face. If you do both at the same time, you might have a heart attack.
This is true. Can confirm. But yeah, find us on Noisepace. Noisepace has a new podcast that I feel like some of our listeners might be interested in, because it's about Twilight, and I feel like we have a lot of listeners who are into that. I think they're doing it about the movies, and it's called Live Free Twihard, which is just such a good title to me. But yeah, if you want to check that out, Noisepace.xyz, where you can find all those other podcasts. I feel like that's a good one to plug because of the interests of our demographic. But yeah, that's the episode. So mohe everyday gamers, and so long and good night.
Fuck cops.
Fuck cops.
Bye. Kiss Keanu square on the lips. Mwah.
Kiss him square on the lips.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye, gamers.